Right now, though, I'm joined by Ozzie Jurock. You can find him at www.jurock.com. Ozzie, quick question. When we're looking at the health of a market, because I want to talk to you about whether we're seeing a significant slowdown or not, do I look at the price as it's being maintained, or do I look at sales volume? Which one would you say gives you a better indication of the overall health of a particular market?
Well, certainly the sales are very important. So when sales fall, and then the active listings at the same time were to rise, then you clearly know that the top is in place and sales prices are going to come down. And the opposite is also the case. If sales would go up dramatically and listings rise, then we know we're going to go higher. Well, today we have sort of a unique thing in the middle. We have detached sales in Vancouver down a whopping 30%. So last year we sold about 1,600 in July, and this year we sold about 1,100. At the same time, we're still down in listings by 28%. And I think it's like a tide washing against the beach. The owners right now, half the owners believe that maybe I should come to the market now, and the other half says, no, maybe I'm going to wait. I think that the tide is going to swing towards many more listings that are coming on the market this month and next month will tell the story.
So we've had 4 months of sort of slowing market in Vancouver, for example, and I only use Vancouver because obviously it's got the headlines across the country along with Toronto, but we've had 4 months, and we've talked about this before. You were very early in this, but, I'm always wondering, it's the summer doldrums, no one's going to sell anything in the first week of July, the first week of August, first week of September. Do we have to see through into the fall before you would sort of say definitively it looks like we've got a big change in the market?
I would say normally yes, but look, we're measuring ourselves against last year's summer doldrums. And Richmond detached sales, for instance, are down 42% over last July, which was also the summer doldrums.
Great point.
West Side is down 29% in volume, but on the detached side. Condos overall are also down about, between 7 and 15%, depending on the market. So we're seeing a general decline in sales, and I think it's going to accelerate. Look, Michael, 15,000 transactions made to the land registry office trying to beat the negative tax. And so there was a lot of sales came through. That will also skew the markets a little bit when we get them at the end of August. But I see for my realtors that we have around that everybody is telling me that anecdotally things are slowing down. By Victoria may still be very hot. Rick Hogan-Dawn tells me is super realtor out there. But he says there are no more $100,000 over asking price. And so we're having, generally speaking, a shift in the feeling of the market.
Let me get to Alberta here. Let's talk about Calgary. Let's talk about Edmonton.
Yeah, the interesting thing, of course, is that in Calgary, we expected it to be down. We expected it to be lower. The president said the number of unemployed workers keep rising, and when you combine job losses with declining net migration, the result is going to be weaker housing demand. So they're down about 13% this year over last year, and it's a 20th month of declines in a row. But actually, Michael, 4.5% down in price in detached and about 7% lower in condos is really not as bad as some people predicted.
Certainly not like the decline in oil prices, that's an example. What about Edmonton, though?
Edmonton, even Steven, sales are down 15%, but the prices for detached homes are actually up a tad, and condo prices are down a tad, about 3%. The big mover and shaker is still Toronto, 10,000 sales, best July ever. Michael, if you take Vancouver, the Fraser Valley, Calgary, Edmonton, Saskatoon, Kelowna, and Victoria together, we don't have 10,000 sales, or just barely. So it's still a whopping big market, and it's up 21% in prices for homes, and condos are up 9%, and the listings are down. So that market is going to continue into the fall with some momentum.
Yeah, really, when you get those listings down to that degree, it's pretty easy for prices to be maintained and go up, as you just described there. I'm looking, when I see, though, like for Calgary, for example, and you don't, it is the 20th consecutive month of year-over-year sales decline, but the prices have sort of held pretty well in that, under that onslaught. I just wonder if that represents, like I always say, we talk a lot about pricing, a lot about the market. what the number I would like to know is how much mortgage debt is on individual houses. Like, for they talk about a bubble in the upper end in Vancouver, I say, tell me how much has been paid in cash, how much is mortgage. Because if it's not, if it's predominantly cash, you're not going to see a big correction. Bubbles burst only because of credit problems. And I'm just wondering if that shows an underlying strength, at least, of who's owning the homes.
I would say it does, because certainly as Canadian homeowners, in general, we are the most, and I think the largest homeowner country in the world that has its mortgage paid off, clear title homes. So the numbers are somewhere around 40%, but it's that kind of strength which, when CMHC makes a discussion, it doesn't have them worried, because the foreclosure rate is still low. But that's going to change. What is astounding to me is that the West Side average detached home price went to $4,270,900. I mean, that's up from $3,400,000 a year ago. That's up 25%. I mean, yes, sales are down, but that price is outlandish.
Yeah, no, I could have used that as my shocking stat. You should have told me in advance.
Yeah.
Ozzie, give me a hot property.
Yeah, we got one in Victoria for you. Victoria is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo, built in 2006, and it's listed for $235,000. It's the cheapest in the Greater Victoria area, so that's our hot property for the week.
Great stuff as always, Ozzie. I mean, it is a fascinating market right now. We've got to keep our finger on the pulse. That's why we're so pleased to have you here with us every week, and you can find more with Ozzie at JUROCK, www.jurock.com. For hot properties, you can click on that button. Ozzie, go out and have a terrific weekend.
I will, thank you. And I've discovered fishing in Secret Cove here now, and I learned that if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day, but teach him how to fish and he'll sit in a boat and drink beer all day. I mean, this is wonderful.
Hey, that's a German expression. Okay. Thanks, Ozzie.